entertainment. Did a whole lot of different things and grew up. California sort of shaped the man that I am today. Like I came back like I came back my whole self. Like I just, it shaped a big part of me, and I ended up going to therapy for 5 years. And one of the reasons I went to therapy was I wanted to sort of know what I didn't know about myself. And I had a bunch of friends that had went to therapy, and they talked about the benefits of it. And these were black people talking about going to therapy. And 5 years ago, mental health was still not being discussed especially in our community. Today, it's a hot topic. It's a hashtag. And so I decided to go when I turned 30, and it was the best decision I made in my adult life. I realized that I hadn't healed from the things that happened in my childhood. I grew up where the richest person in my neighborhood was a drug dealer. So that was what you see. So what do you strive for? You know, I grew up to violence, a lot of abuse, drugs, and witnessed my mom, going through unfair things, being abused. And my brother stepped in to defend my mom, and the guy ends up dying from the injuries. My brother's 15 years old. I'm 10 years old. So that changed the trajectory of my family. So my brother's taken out of the home, trauma, my mom's traumatized by it. I am, and I remember not even crying. Like I didn't even know how to process it. I didn't know how to cry. And I'm like a lot of people, you grow up, the only thing you want to do is survive. Like I felt like I didn't have the space to cry. I didn't have the space to be sad. I had to figure out a way to get out. I had to figure out a way to not make that be the end all be all. Like I wanted to save my family. I wanted to make a difference. And in that journey, I've saved myself. So that's really sort of what led me to purpose. Like I got into purpose by going through all these different phases of my life, like getting into purpose. And I know my purpose is to bring some hope to the hopeless, to be a voice, to take action, to implement some positive things into the community, and to let people know that we're all a mistake away from having our lives ruined. And if we do make a mistake, who's going to be there to hold our hands? Who's going to be there to pick us up? Where's a safe space for us to go when we make mistakes? And if we have a whole world that's turning their backs on us because of the word felon, like where do people go? Like what do you do? And so that's really how Second Chances came about. Like I remember Trayvon, I think it was Trayvon Martin, his death, like I just kept waking up like, why am I so mad about this? Like this just really bothers me. I thought about my nephews, his age. I have some younger, my nieces. My family was still here in Texas, and there are people still going through these things. And I was like, I have to do something. I got to channel my passion. I got to channel my anger into something positive and implement that into the community. And that's really, I just started writing one day. I started writing out. I started asking questions. I started reaching out to people that had been incarcerated. I started doing my research, and I identified that people just don't know where to go when they're coming out. If they do know where to go, they can't get there, or the resources are limited, or it's really not what they say it is. So there's all these challenges. I started realizing housing, you can't rent an apartment. You can't put anything in their name. Going to get a loan, they run their background check. So you may not qualify for most loans that are out there. Even government assistance, getting on things like welfare. Like, so how do we expect someone that made a mistake 30 years ago to come out and be a productive member of society when they can't even get their basic needs met. Like,
Yeah.
people need a roof over your head.
You gotta eat.
You gotta eat.
Yeah.
You need access to health care. You know, you need access to a job.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't have a job, they're gonna do whatever they need to do to survive.
Exactly.
And that's even if they have to rob somebody,
Mm-hmm.
if they have to go steal, if they have to break into your place. All these things people are doing, not always because they're bad people.
Yeah.
People are doing what they have to do to survive.
Mhm.
And that goes to selling drugs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we continue to get, we criminalize things that shouldn't be criminalized.
Mhm.
Like, people are doing what they have to do to survive.
Yeah.
And that's really where all these things come from. Like, we are giving people some hope. Like, we're not just advocating for you, we're giving you hope,
Mhm.
and giving you resources. Like, if you guys, you know, you can't save everybody,
Yeah. Yeah.
but for people that really do want to move forward and want to do something different, and you know, we're here for them. Like, we're
Mhm.
small right now, but continue to grow. A lot of support locally and those kind of things. But that's really where the organization came from. And people always say, like, they think I don't have a felony. Like, I don't have a felony. I've had run-ins with the law and police and all that kind of stuff. But I've been fortunate enough to not have a felony.
Mhm.
I was able to go to college, and all of this stuff is off the backs of my ancestors. This is off the support of my family,
Yeah.
my friends. My mother is a huge inspiration to me. My brother, in his situation, my family, just to change the narrative. Like, somebody has to change the narrative in the family,
Mhm.
in the community,
Yeah.
you know, because we have generations down the line that are looking at us, that are looking for something different. And we gotta fight it. Like, somewhere along the road, like, we stopped fighting.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta keep fighting.
Mhm.
Like, even from getting these laws changed. Like, we criminalizing kids right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Addicts Middle School has about 40 kids that are on paper.
Mhm.
That's
It
ridiculous.
is. It is.
I mean, you're talking about a child,
a child hasn't had an opportunity to even try to live a life.
and so we're already setting this child up to, not to mention, who knows why the kid is fighting or whatever. Like, I fought in school. I got kicked out of school.
Mhm.
But all they do, they call my parents or they send you to some type of place in school suspension or something.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
eventually learned, you know, from that, and I eventually moved to another space. But I mean, just think about where I would be today if I was criminalized
Yeah.
for fighting or for missing school. You know, I don't know if I would be here today.
Mhm.
I don't know if a lot of people that are in positions of power would be where they are if they got criminalized for the things they did.
Just that young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of times when these kids are fighting in school and things like that, it's something deeper. It's something that's more than likely going on at home. That's what the school is supposed to be there for. I
Mhm.
thought, when I was in school, that it was a community
Yeah.
that would help you, that not just would only help you at school, but yeah, they were also there for, other stuff to
Yeah.
help see that problem through that you were possibly having at home.
Right. And that's really, when I look back, all my issues, my challenge that I was having was because I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like what I was seeing.
Yeah.
I didn't like how I felt. Didn't feel good about myself. So you do bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're also a child. Like, kids do things. Like, you do things that you don't even understand.
Yeah.
But if we're not addressing the why,
Mm-hmm.
that's the challenge. Like, we have to address the why in this country. People
Yeah.
always are like, this is what you did, and because this is what you did, you're getting punished, and you're going to get the maximum punishment.
Yeah.
Like, even in our own
Forever.
community, we assume that because someone did something that we didn't like, that they deserve the maximum. If you ask most people that are victims of a crime, everybody wants something different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone committed, say, murder, some families don't want that person they don't want them to get the death penalty.
Yeah.
Some of the victims don't want the death penalty. Some of them just want an apology.
Yeah. It'd be something just so simple as that. Because a lot of times, like you say, even as adults, It's 9 times out of 10. You do have some just throwed off people out here, but for the most part, you have a lot of people who are in jail and they have committed this crime, and like you say, it's something psychological. I'm very confident that there are a lot of people in jail, in prison, that more than anything they need therapy. They need psychological help to get to the bottom, to the root of what caused you to commit this crime. And once we get to the root of it, okay, now you can live a productive life because now you're gonna get some tools to help you work through this mentally.
Right. And that goes back to how stuff is outdated. Mental health runs rampant throughout all sectors of this country. Like, there's people in powerful positions with mental health issues that have never been addressed.
Oh yeah.
There's people preaching on Sundays with mental health issues.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's people teaching our kids with mental health issues. There's people policing our communities with mental health issues.
Especially those police officers that have served in Iraq and the Middle East, and they come back and they see people that are black and brown who resemble those people that they were fighting.
Yep.
It triggers something in you. We're humans, right? So we dig back into our own past and our own experiences, and we react without realizing that's what we're doing.
Yep.
And it's not to discredit the wrongness in what has been happening ever since 2015 when things started going viral, right? About this issue where innocent black people were being killed, I want them to see who's saying this. Like, for real, like, we need to stop, like, putting the wool over our eyes, both black, white, Hispanic, Filipino, whatever race you are. You see exactly what I see. And what's been happening has been wrong. But now that we're in information era, we can see y'all can see now what we've been telling you. And it's really sad that it takes until now that everybody has a smartphone in their hand and they can say, oh wow, that dude didn't do anything, but yet he got shot. Why? You should ask yourself, why is this happening? Why is it that my 3 black friends, they have to worry about not making a left-hand turn when I make a left all the time and I never get pulled over? But as soon as my black friend does it, they get pulled over, they get handcuffed, they start doing a background check, they want you to pull out your insurance, they want to know, is this a stolen vehicle? They want to know all these questions, and they just watch you make a illegal left-hand turn, and they didn't even bother you.
Yeah. I mean, and that, for so long, and still to this day, like, that's a daily occurrence. Like you have, being a police officer in this country, you have a lot of power. You have the power to change someone's life in a second. Like, and that goes back to whether the person is seriously injured, whether the person is locked up, or even killed. Worst case scenario. And it's over simple things. Like, it's a lot of times it's over simple things. I say this too, and a lot of people disagree with me with this, but when you're if someone comes into a workplace and they're being disrespectful, a lot of people say the customer first.
Correct.
Like, civil servants and servant leaders, which police officers are, should do everything in their power to make sure that they de-escalate the situation because they are the professional. Like, we deal with, people every day come into spaces with attitudes and all kinds of things, and not saying there should be mutual respect, but as a professional, that is our job to de-escalate, to do everything in our power to find a solution for the customer. And I think about that, but the thing now is it's shoot and ask questions later,
And something else that I've noticed that people say, well, if you just follow orders, then that person wouldn't have gotten shot. That's not always the case. Sometimes you give orders so quickly and you react in the same breath that you given that order. You didn't give the other person time to act accordingly. And I don't know if this is happening out of fear. Is this happening out of hate? I don't know, or a combination of both. But regardless of where it's coming from, regardless of where the root takes place, it needs to stop. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. We all breathe in air. We all exhale it. We all, get energy from the sun. It should not matter if I'm a hue darker than you or 3 hues darker than you. Who cares? We're all just trying to survive. We're all doing the same thing each and every day. We are trying to live out our dreams and we're trying to survive because one thing's for sure, we're all going to be 6 feet under at the end of the day.
Yep.
So we just want to live our best lives while we have the energy that God, Allah, whoever you pray to, Buddha has given you. All this other stuff is senseless. The conversation that we're having right now, we shouldn't even have to have this conversation. Like what he said, a lot of the laws are outdated. It needs to update. It needs to change. It needs to be in alignment with what's happening in 2019 and beyond. These laws from 1876, how do they still apply? We're driving Teslas now.
We're not speaking up
We're
about
dang
it.
near in the Jetsons age, you know what I'm saying? And we're still abiding by laws that were created before slavery ended. The fact that there are so many people walking around with this mentality that I can treat you less than because your ancestors were slaves, that's so childish and it's so beyond ignorant. Because at the end of the day, that person that you're looking at or looking down at could very well be your boss next week. So you need to stride and tread the waters accordingly because a lot of times the tables turn. That's one thing for sure. The tables will continuously turn. So we always need to treat each other with kindness, with respect. And also, like what you said, Mr. Lewis, we need to look at the law, period.
Yeah.
And we need to do whatever it takes to change that. Have you thought about ways to implement change?
We have. We actually we partner with Crime Safety and Survivors. It's a new organization to Texas, and they've done a lot of work in Florida and California. And we went to legislation in February of this year and presented a bill on victims, like a bill on like victims, like having support for victims and showing them that Black people are also victims. Like the misnomer in this world is that, and I say this all the time, Black people, especially Black men, are not allowed to be victims. Like if something happens to us, if it happens in our community, if your child gets shot, you're a victim.
Yeah.
You are a victim. If your child gets raped, that child is a victim. We need resources, we need money allocated to make sure that this person is supported financially. Like if someone, your child gets shot, there's funeral costs. You also probably should go speak with someone. There should be some therapy.
That's what I was thinking too.
There should be centers in the community where you can go and get what you need when these things happen, because it's a daily occurrence. Like the thing in the Black community, something happens to you and you have to find your own way to heal.
Yeah.
Like you have to figure it out and find your own way to heal. And that's one of the things that we talk about all the time, like giving legislation a new face. Like we are like born into poverty. You are born a victim.
Right.
Period. Like you are born a victim if you're born into poverty. Money changes a lot of things.
Oh yeah, like we say, hey, money don't make you happy. No, money ain't gonna make you happy, but it gives you choices.
Yeah.
To where you can, do what you need to do to find happiness, if nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it does.
And when you have access to things that are positive and beneficial, whether you take advantage of them or not, it changes the narrative.
Yeah.
It changes, like what you see a lot of times is what you become. That's the majority. For someone to think outside of what you see, that's rare.
And that should explain a lot, not to interject, but I have to, because a lot of people watching this may say, well, that's not really an excuse. I've seen so many people on TV that look at Tyler Perry. He slept in his car, he was homeless, and now look at him. He's a multimillionaire. That's for some people. And that's with a tenacious spirit, too. Yeah. So everybody is different, right? That's number one. Number two is what you said is absolutely correct. What you see, that's all you can go off of. Like you said, the most well-paid person in your neighborhood was a dope dealer, then you're gonna seek out to be the individual that you saw making it happen, which happened to be a dope dealer. That's a horrible example, but for everybody, their situation isn't the same. And so you have some people who grew up in, I was talking to my daughter about this earlier. that grew into money. Like when they were born, they had a couple million set to the side for them to do whatever they need to do with it once they reached of age, right? But then there's a lot of us who we start out with a negative balance.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what little that we did have to start out with, mama put the bill in our name. Mama put her car in our name. Like this stuff is not for play, guys. For people who don't believe that this real is really real. A lot of kids start out at 18 with bad credit because their parents didn't have good or decent credit. They destroyed it because nobody taught them how to maintain good credit. I'm getting off on a tangent, but just for people to see that, you know, it does matter that you started out.
Yeah.
And it's a trickle down effect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you had nobody to teach you better, then you remain stagnant in that same position. And further generations to come as well.
And it's hard to just say, oh, you know, it's so easy for people to always say, change your mindset. You know, but it is a struggle. Like, just like you going in the gym, working out, it's the same thing mentally, if not worse, to train your brain to rethink itself, to literally talk to yourself and say, no, to fight those thoughts off. That is not easy. And I mean, I always, like, kudos to people out here who are fighting these battles mentally, because it is not easy.
Right.
You gotta give Tyler Perry and people like him their props, because that's not easy to fight off these thoughts.
Right. And it's not, we're not taught that from the beginning.
No.
Like, we're not taught to figure out who you are, why you're here, what your purpose is. You're not given tools to think outside of things that you see or things that you're taught, or not everything that we're taught or given from our parents are best for us.
Yeah.
And to be able to navigate through that and past that is tough. Like a lot of people, we live in a reward punishment society. It's domesticating us like animals. Like, you get rewarded if you do what I say as a child. Yeah. And God forbid you have your own mind and you want to do something outside of what an adult's telling you. You're disrespectful. You're a bad kid. You're getting punished.
Yeah.
And not saying that goes with everything. Of course, you want to make sure the child is on the right path. But I think a lot of times we expect parents to have it all together. Like, one of the biggest challenges is expecting adults who are broken to be good parents. Like, how do you expect and we talk about things start at home. It's a community effort.
Yeah. Like,
to raise a child and to make sure that the child has everything they need, I believe it's a community effort. And we've gotten away from that. Like, I can't expect, I mean, you see it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've seen people scream at their kids and beat on their kids and things like that. Instead of judging, you know, have a conversation with the parent. Or ask the parent, do they need some help?
But they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know why they're not going to do that? Because we become a society of, I mind my own business, you mind yours. Look, if that's happening, that's their problem, not mine. Am I lying?
Yeah, no, You have a lot of people who have become with this mindset, like, don't tell me how to raise my child. It's not too many people who are gonna accept that constructive criticism.
So how do we get back there? You know, I think that's what we've lost. I think we've lost touch with what really matters in this world. Like, we lost touch that kids are being born every day into our communities, into the neighborhoods, in our schools, and we don't hold each other accountable anymore. We don't teach empathy. Yeah. Like, empathy is key. Oh, yeah. Empathy is...
It's everything.
It's everything. Like, it saves lives. You know, empathy helps you navigate this world so much better when you have that. Because you can't have empathy and judgment in the same space. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. So we replace empathy with judgment. Yeah. And it's so many people who they forget, because nobody's perfect. Right. And we all make mistakes, or we all do something that somebody does not agree with. So at the end of the day, too, it comes back around to you. You're going to need that empathy one day. And so how are you gonna expect to receive that if you haven't been dishing it out yourself? And then also, like, are you empathetic with yourself?
That's true too.
Are you forgiving yourself?
Yeah.
On a daily.
Yeah. That's self-love.
It's so funny because, and maybe I'm just a weird one, which I know I am. I've never like gotten mad at myself for maybe one time, and that was recently. And that was the first time in my life that I could understand people getting angry with themselves. Because when I would hear somebody say that, I'm like, oh, they're crazy. About what? Like, okay, maybe you made a mistake. Get over it. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, but this one particular time, you know, my kid almost nosedive or head dove into the concrete, my little baby. She's 19 months at the time. She may have been like 16, 17 months. And I was so angry at myself because I said, I'm her protector. I'm mommy. You know, forget everybody else. That was my responsibility. And I almost fell had it not been somebody there to catch her like a football. You see what I mean? And even though things happen, I couldn't let it go. For weeks, I couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
But only in that moment was I able to actually understand that feeling.
And that's probably...
I'm 30-some years old. It took me a long time. I never got it. So if that's the feeling that everybody else feels when they're angry with themselves, that's unhealthy to go around with that level of guilt.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that can really develop into other things, which I see play out every day.
Yeah.
It makes sense now.
And sometimes you just don't know you need to forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's first. Like sometimes when things happen to us, you also have to forgive yourself because a lot of times, a lot of people think there was something they did that caused whatever the other person did to them or whatever happened to them in life, whatever it is. Life happens all the time.
Yeah.
But you have to constantly, you gotta be good to yourself. Like you do. Like there's no way you can be good to anybody else if you're not good to yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on now.
You limit it. You're limited in what you can give.
Yeah.
And I think it's a practice though. Like it's a daily practice.
Do you think also too, people who are so hard on themselves get that from maybe how they were raised? Maybe if you had somebody that was always, you're not good enough, you did this wrong,
Absolutely.
you're not, all that. That's probably what kind of creates you to become so angry with yourself. Because see, I didn't have that growing up. It was always love, tons of empathy, okay?
Yeah.
And so that's why I didn't come to understand it until later in life. But a lot of people that I know that do that to themselves, they had it rough. You know, in terms of their relationship with mom to child or mom and dad to child or whatever, you know.
That's
you
a
think
good
that
point.
correlates?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I a lot of people don't know this. I don't talk about it a lot, but I struggled with feeling like I was enough. My whole life, I didn't realize that I didn't feel like I was enough. Because I wasn't made to feel like that when I was growing up. So I've always overcompensated for things because there was holes in my life. And you got to find a way to fill the holes. But I didn't know how to fill all those holes because I didn't even know how to acknowledge those things.
Yeah.
Especially like as a black man. Like you grow up and you're not supposed to cry.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to, be sad. It just didn't, all those things, like I was taught not to do that. That's not what a man is. And I do, like I did a lot of things for acknowledgement so that I did feel loved, so that I did feel enough. Like I was a great athlete. I got good grades in school. Like I did all that. I've accomplished in the workplace. I've done all these things. And when I stopped and looked back and realized, I was like, I'm doing all this stuff and I'm overcompensating for the whole not feeling good enough and not understanding that that's not good. It's not healthy. It's none of those things. And so when you look at your life, like you have to stop and pause and get to know like who you are, like the ugly stuff, the things that you don't like. Take off the mask. Take off all that, but it's a daily. It is daily.
It's a process.
It's a daily because you have these triggers, and your triggers bring back these things. Like most of us operate out of our subconscious.
Yeah.
Like most people, your subconscious are things that happened to you in your childhood that you still navigate from to this day. So somebody can say a word or they can do something that your parents did.
Yeah.
And it triggers you and you respond to that person as if that's your parent and that wasn't that person's intention. So learning all those things and unpacking the subconscious helps me be more present. Like today, like for the last year, like I practice on being present, like just being like now, like being present, enjoying this, having a conversation, not thinking about what happened early this morning, not thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow, but just thinking about now, being present and understanding that I'm enough now. I have enough right now. God has given me everything I need right now.
That's important, and that's vital.
Yeah.
You said a mouthful just right there. And
it's not just saying it. I feel it.
Yeah, and that's important. That's important.
Yeah, that's how you. Prayer is a feel. It's the feeling.
Yeah.
It's not just the words. It's the feeling. Like I can pray anything, but if I don't feel it and I don't believe it's gonna manifest, it's just words. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we want to talk about also with your organization. As you alluded to earlier, you're getting a lot of, the organization is growing, and with the help of the community and donors. So we do want to number one talk about how people can donate and help with your organization and your efforts. And also, I want you to talk about this event that you have next weekend for people to come out and also, hear more about your organization, as well as, get their hands to work, be it physically or financially, however they can help.
Absolutely. So our website is www.secondchances.life. So instead of .com, it's .life. And second is a number 2, so 2ND. Chances with an S.life. So you guys can go to our site. You can also donate there as well. There's a donate link on the site. You can also, if you guys want to donate on Eventbrite, we also have an Eventbrite page for the event next week. It's www.secondchancesevent.eventbrite.com. Yeah, that's it. So www.secondchancesevent.eventbrite.com. So you can go there and donate as well. If you want to volunteer, just shoot us an email, info@secondchances.life. Like, we never can have enough help. Never. So we'll never turn you away. We have several events throughout the year that you can volunteer if you want to become a mentor. If you're an educator, that's always important. If you're a business owner, like, we want to partner with business owners, because one of the number one needs and one of the biggest challenges we have is somebody calls us, they need a job, and that's important. It's important for people to have a job, but also we vet our candidates. We make sure that if they have any major mental health issues, we have a partnership with MHMRA. We get those addressed first.
Awesome.
If they don't, we look at other things, like if the person needs therapy. That's one of the things that, you get addressed, because it's one thing to give a person resources, but can you keep them? And so keeping them is addressing the why. And so just taking a holistic approach to everything. So if a candidate gets a job through our program, like we do weekly evaluations with the candidate.
That's good.
Partnering, making sure the supervisor having a constant communication with them. And it's all about development. It's not necessarily babysitting and things like that, but it's about development.
And it sounds like a support group that's needed for a lot of people, especially those that have been incarcerated. They really are at a disadvantage.
And not everybody needs the same thing. Like, I can't paint a broad brush with everybody that's been incarcerated and saying they're all going to come out with the same issues, because they don't.
Some people issues are pretty minimal. They just need somebody to get them a job. Some people got the family support and everything else, but they need somebody to get them a job.
And that's it.
That's it. Whereas on the other hand, I already know, I can imagine, and I know firsthand that some of these people, though, the spectrum is wide.
And so you have to. It's an individualized thing. Like, we sit down with them, we have conversations, very transparent in everything we do. It has to be somebody that they want to do better. You want to change. You want to, I can't make you do anything. I mean, everybody's like, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. Like, that's cliche, but you really can't.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just read that. I put that comment on Facebook 8 years ago, and you just echoed it. That's crazy. It's
but
true.
you can't. You
Yeah.
know,
You can't.
the program's not for everybody. Like we're not saying it's a one-stop shop, but if you do want to move forward, like we are here for you. We have the resources, we got the partnerships now in place. Huge shout out to everybody. So the event next week is at the Buffalo Soldiers Museum. Thank you to them for being one of our sponsors for this event. This is our second year doing this event, and it's grown tremendously. We're excited about it. So we're talking about this too. So we're having a mental health forum, and the forum is going to be led by Nettie Jones. She's a psychologist, and we also have Elise
Wade.
Green. She's phenomenal. Rain is actually one of our directors, by the way. Her and Elise co-authored a reentry program for women at Bryan's federal prison. Co-authored it. And Elise, after spending time there, she now has a degree in psychology. She's working on her paralegal degree. She has started nonprofit organizations, help kids. I mean, we're talking about somebody that spent some time and now out changing the world in just such a beautiful way. So I'm super excited to have her and psychologists on there. And so the whole purpose is not only just discussing our trauma, but also ways to heal it. Whether you've been incarcerated or not, and in our community, like, it needs to be talked about. A lot of times you don't even know the trauma. You don't even know you're in pain. You don't know what you've been through and some of the things that, because we, again, with our subconscious, you think because you don't think about it constantly, it doesn't show up in your life. It shows up in your life all the time. You're just not aware. And so, excited about that. We also, bail reform is on the brink here in Houston for the misdemeanor courts. So we're excited about having Judge Jordan, who's leading that. Deshaun Jones is he's a felony courts judge who is phenomenal. And we're talking about people that are not only in the system, but doing things to change it. You talk about laws, like bail reform is huge. And the thing about bail reform people don't understand is that it's such an unfair thing, because if you do something and I'm with you, there's a law of parties. That means that I'm gonna be guilty because I'm with you.
Guilty by association.
Yep.
That's probably where that phrase comes from. Actually.
Yeah. So if I go to jail, you stole some candy, and I go with you, you can afford to get out, but you committed a crime.
Then you're stuck.
I'm sitting in jail and I didn't do anything, so I've lost my job. And if I'm a mom, and I probably lost my kids if I'm a single mom. So you're talking about just continuing to ruin our, and most people don't understand 50% of those cases are dismissed anyway. So why are you waiting on going to court and waiting on a speedy trial and all those things? You could be out, continue to live your life, and do what you need to do, and not sit here suffering, sitting in jail, losing all these things. So it's huge. I'm excited about it. So they're going to be there talking about it. We have Dr. Anna Correa. She's the director of policy for Commissioner Ellis's office also. So she's going to be there as well on the panel talking about it and what that means for our community. And what it looks like, and for people to come out and understand there are people fighting in our community. I wouldn't have them there if I didn't believe in what they're doing, like at all. Like we're not with the political BS, and I'm not with it. Like, if you're doing the work, you're doing the work. I don't care what party you're associated with. I don't care about any of that.
No, that's right.
If you're doing the work and you're doing things to change the narrative in our community, let's go. Let's do the work. If you're not, you're keeping it pushing.
That makes perfect sense.
That's what it's about, and we're excited about it. Like, we're bringing resources to the community. Actually bringing resources to the community. So we have HUD, Urban and Development is coming with new programs. We have Pure Justice. They're an organization that does a lot of community organization, a lot of like changing policy, organizing, just huge. We have Launchpad. They focus on providing services to actually dads, like dads that have been incarcerated, that have kids, getting them different trades. We have Texas Veterans Commission, so if you're a veteran and you need services, you can come. We also have Avenue 360. They're going to be doing free health screenings that day. We're giving away turkeys
50.
to the first 50 guests that come. I don't want to miss anybody. I want to shout out everybody that is
Take
part
the
of
time.
this.
Yeah, because it sounds like a really huge event.
It
It's
is.
gonna
I'm
be
excited
very
about it.
excited.
In the building.
So we have, I'll tell you all
It's the
this.
one for the 23rd, right?
Yes.
Ma'am.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
We'd love to do it live on.
We have
um,
BB&T.
Podcast.
That's a bank. That's a local community bank.
Yeah.
So they're coming to bring financial literacy to anybody that wants to get involved, sign up, and understanding how to balance your finances. It's all free. We have Youth Be Known. They're coming like with foster services and adoption. So if anybody is interested in any of those services, they can come. We have Sir Jobs. So Sir is coming. They have jobs and job training. If you haven't registered to vote, this is probably one of the most important elections we're going to have locally.
Yeah.
Next year, 2020, we have a mayoral race. We have city council across the city. Like, these things are important.
Oh, yeah.
So if you haven't registered to vote, come that day so you can register to vote. And another thing I want to say too is that you can vote if you have priors, as long as you're not on probation or parole. So don't get discouraged if you have something on your record and say you can't vote. So this passed that if you're not on any kind of papers, you can vote. So this is an opportunity for us to really, and then also I want to encourage people to read about the candidates. Like, inform yourself about the candidates before you go vote.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times, don't just vote because somebody's Democratic. Don't
Yeah,
vote
if they
for
watch
them.
our show, they know this by
Yeah,
now.
yeah, 'cause-
That's what we promote. You have to be
Yeah, like,
educated.
absolutely.
on.
Like, and take just, you can go online. We have no excuse today not to inform
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
can Google these candidates,
Absolutely.
go on social media, read a quick segment, just take your
Or just
time
put who's running for mayor in Houston.
and
Put
look them
Google
up.
search.
Yeah.
Look them up. Who's running for city council in your neighborhood? Presidential election is not near as important as your local election. They decide where the money goes in your community, what the money goes to. And I'll be honest, I don't care what the person looks like. We have had people in these positions, especially from a city council standpoint, across the country that have done absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. We know it.
Like, we have people, grassroots organizations on the ground that get overlooked. A lot of times get no funding.
Yeah.
Got to jump through hoops to get some money from anybody. But these are the people that are actually doing the work and changing the community.
Yeah.
So, again, like, take your time, show up to these different candidate forums and ask the questions.
Yeah.
And we just can't afford to continue to repeat the same things. Like, it's not about party, it's about people getting in that's going to be accountable to the things that they said they're going to do. And if they're not, get them out.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So I won't go on a soapbox about that, but I think it's important.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have to, that's your right, but I think it's important.
I think so too.
We've got Northwest Educational Center. So they're coming. It's a college that you can go for free, where you can get a healthcare certification, CNA, CRNA, beauty. Like, if you
It's
want.
only for people who have been incarcerated.
No. This is for everybody.
Oh.
So
This
what
is for
we're
everyone.
doing. So what we've done is remove the barriers. Whether you have a record or not, and you're in need of these services, come. But we want people to know that if you have priors, show up. And not just a job, but adding different tools to your belt.
Yeah.
Like adding certifications. Like, we live in a world today where skills matter.
Oh yeah.
Certification and skills and trades are going to carry us to it's gonna benefit you tremendously.
Oh yeah.
Going to pay $100,000 for a degree, and you in debt
And you ain't got no
for
job.
the rest of your
What you went to school for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it really worth it? So adding these different tools to your belt and creating your own job. You know, most people that are successful that have been incarcerated in the past have their own business. It hasn't been because they've gone to college and all. It's been because they've created a space and have their own business. So it's important. What else am I missing? Oh, Workers Defense. Workers Defense is awesome. We partnered with Workers Defense. We had a 21-year-old kid that came to us, and he had pretty much like given up. He's like, dude, I got in trouble when I was 17. Haven't really been able to recover. I just had a child, and so we were able to partner with Workers Defense, get him enrolled, and he's now certified with the union. Several different unions, the painters union, electrician union, which has opened up doors, tremendous doors for this kid. So make sure you guys come. Workers Defense is a huge partner of ours. We have Color of Change. It's a youth program. Yeah. For kids, City of Houston Housing, they have a Section 3 program and some other programs they're going to roll out. We have Hello Wellness. That's it's a company that has all these organic nutritional supplements and things that'll be there. Launchpad, I talked about Launchpad. Who am I missing? Alsco. We're gonna have the director of HR from Alsco there, and she's also gonna come with jobs. She's gonna talk about jobs, and they're located throughout all of Harris County.
Ready to hire.
And ready to hire that day. The Body Shop will be there. It's actually a local gym in 3rd Ward, and they have like a juice shop and all that. They're bringing it there. We're gonna have a food truck. We're gonna have a bounce house for the kids. I hope I'm not missing
kids
anybody.
friendly.
Yeah. So this is a great look.
We had also, I don't want to miss Just Pampered. If you guys look up Just Pampered, she has all these oils and scents and body stuff for your body and all that. So a lot of different things that they're bringing to the community.
Daisies.
Did I miss something?
X-Mate.
X-Mate, yeah, we're going to do a podcast that day, X-Mate. We're also showing our documentary, Second Chances. So that's at 10:30. This is free. Second Chances is a documentary that I produced back at home. And basically what it does, it follows 3 men from where I grew up at that spent some time incarcerated, and now they're all out and successful in the community. It also gives you a child's perspective of what it's like as a child to lose your parents to the system and the effects that it has on you. It's a really, I'm not saying it just because
It's won several awards.
Oh, okay.
we won not just awards though, but just every time I watch it, like I do, like it's heartfelt, it's raw, it's real, and it sheds light on the reality of what we're talking about today and why we do this. And it changes your life. Like it's a life changing thing. Like it makes you sad, but it also, you look at, this is messed up.
Yeah.
This system has got to change.
Yeah.
There's not one person I know that hasn't watched that and left that and was like, I gotta do something.
Yeah, wow.
So we're gonna show that with our panel, 2 panels that day. So it's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can sign up online at Eventbrite if you want to. You can register. You don't have to. You can just show up that day. But we're excited about it. It's continuing to grow. And anybody that wants to partner with us again, we welcome you. Like, we welcome you. Like, as long as you come in and you're honest and, you know, you wholeheartedly want to participate. And you can participate in different ways. Like, we all have our different callings. We all have our different passions. We all have things that we're really, really good at. Find a way to use that to benefit the community. Like, I feel like there's so many different areas in our community that we can get, and it's all in the same direction. It's to benefit the community, to make the community better,
Yeah.
to help our kids. Like, we have to. So I'm excited about it. So again, next Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. All day, pretty much.
I'll be out there with my baby Rugrat. And that's an awesome museum, by the way, that you're having.
It is.
Yes,
So,
it's awesome.
I think Jada, I think you've been there before once, so it'd be good to go back.
Yeah, and we appreciate them so much for allowing us to host it there. It's a beautiful space. Like you walk in, and there's so much history. Like if people haven't had an opportunity to tour the Buffalo Soldier Museum,
That's a good
opportunity. And it's all free, so you don't have to worry about having to come out of pocket. Like we want to, we're coming to give. Like this is not something we're coming to take. Like we're coming to give.
Yeah.
The people that are going to be there are coming for service. That's like the greatest gift to me. Like service, is you're being good to yourself by being good to other people. Like that's what this life's about. Like, and we've sort of gotten away from that.
Yeah.
And I love what we do. Like it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And takes a lot of energy, a lot of time, and, but I'm grateful. Like I'm grateful that I've been able to find my purpose and find it sooner than later. But God is always on time.
Yeah.
Always when you need him. So I'm grateful. Like I can't say that I'm excited. Anybody that wants to join in, just come on home.
And so how long has this organization been in place?
So we've been around since 2016. We're 501(c), so we got a 501(c). I want to say June 2016 in California.
Okay.
So in California, that's where we started, and then life ended up happening and just brought me back here. And I did realize how much I needed to come back here after we shot the documentary, because I had been so far removed from like how I grew up in existence. And sometimes like when you move away, you don't realize that there's people still there suffering from the same things that you suffer from. So if I had the opportunity to make it out of that, I feel like for me personally, it's my duty to go back and implement something.
Yeah. To
give something. And that's really what brought me back to Texas. And just coming back here, I mean, in 2 years, like our partnerships, the people that we've met, the connections that we've made, it's all purpose.
Yeah. Like
it's been God, it's all been purpose. It has, and I can't, even today when I sit back and look at how many people have said yes to the things that we've asked them for, and just the work. Like Houston is doing a lot of really good work in the South. For this to be a southern city, like California, of course, is a very progressive place, and Texas is conservative, and getting laws and things like that to change. It's a challenge out here, but people are doing it, and it's in different spaces. Like the work has to be done in different spaces, and so our goal is like to bring all these things together. Like there's people doing work all around the city, and we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Like if they have something that we don't have, it's like, all right, I'm gonna recommend you, or vice versa. So how do we bring all these things together and not make it feel like we're competing? Like it's enough work.
Yeah.
It's more than enough work. Like I'm glad to pass something off.
Yeah.
Or to be able to give somebody else something that we just can't do. Like the major mental health issues, we can't. It's not. We can't. Like it's just not something that we can do. But that doesn't mean that the person doesn't deserve an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's being able to say, you know what? No, I can't. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
But let me figure it out. Let's try to figure this out. So and I appreciate you all for reaching out to us. Like to just allowing us to come on your platform and to be able to just share this stuff because I think it's important. I think I rarely say no to this kind of stuff unless I absolutely can't make it or something else is in the way because how do you get the word out?
Yeah.
Like, how do people know that you even exist if you're not out there present, sharing? How do they know?
Yeah.
And that's one of the problems that we identified coming here. Like, if I ask somebody, do you know about Section 3? Do you know?
I didn't. I just found out when I heard you speak. Yeah, I just found out when I heard you speak last month.
But that's not okay.
No, it's not.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not okay. And I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
It's our leaders and our government's job to bring that stuff to the people.
They had no
idea.
idea.
We're bringing it to you. Like we want to remove all the barriers. There's no excuses. We're bringing it to you, and if you don't know about it, you can go online, figure it out.
What I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
I know what it is now.
But for people, and then just to get a grasp of like who we are, coming out, and just really, it's a day of just love and giving and sharing, and it's really what it's about.
Yeah.
That's it. Food also. Somebody's a food vendor. We have one food truck that's coming out, Ito's that's coming out that day. But if anybody else wants to be a food vendor that day, come out. We can talk, email us, or Facebook, one of those on Facebook, Instagram, all at secondchances.life, so they can come out with that. So, because I'm sure people are going to want some food options that day, but.
Well, if you could please give our listeners and our viewers your email information, and if you could also announce your website again.
Got it. So email is info@secondchances.life. So info@secondchances.life. Website is www.secondchances.life. So all same thing, www.secondchances.life. And again, if you want to donate, you can't make it out, or if you just can't make the event that day, shoot us an email, inbox us on one of the social media sites, and we'll figure out how to connect you and all that kind of stuff that day.
Okay, and everything is just second chances, pretty much. That's all. You just need to.
If they Google search you, do they just type in
second
2
chances?
ND?
The number 2 ND.
Pretty much .life, yeah.
Okay. Make it really easy for everybody.
Yeah, so if you just look it up, Second Chances, and then .life, I guess. I hadn't even tried to.
Yeah, it does.
Or if you like Google me, like it'll pop up. Or if you do hashtag Second Chances, it'll pop up.
That's what I was doing, hoping and praying that it would. I didn't know. I didn't test it. I just put it and I said, I hope it links them directly to your sources.
They'll
Then
find
go
us.
back and see if it works.
Lord, she's sitting in
It's all about risk.
Alaska.
It's all about risk. They have your Let's hope it works.
Oh, good.
And so also I did also see that you also have a toy drive coming up. Can you tell
Yes.
our listeners and our viewers about that as well?
So on December 20th, we're doing a toy drive. So we haven't released all the information on it or the location yet. So follow us on our social media page. We're trying to get through this week.
I got you.
Before announcing all that, just
stay on the lookout.
Yeah, so stay on the lookout, but save the date, December 20th. Like,
Okay.
if you want to donate, we'll have places for you to go donate, and a location if you want to, like, come out to the toy drive. Because we may do, we have a location in mind, and you can come out and drop your toys off. But it's going to be an event.
Okay.
So food and all this kind of stuff. It's going to be an actual event. So if you want to participate that way, like last year, we were able to get toys to 200 kids, like for Christmas.
That's a lot of kids.
And we had to give some of the toys away. We had so many, so we donated some of the toys to another organization. And so basically what we do, so back where I grew up, Terrell, we do a big holiday give back for Christmas. And so part of the toys will go to that. And then the other toys we're going to do. This year we're doing in Greens Point. We're partnering with Carl Ward with Deep Roots. So Greens Point is a area that most people don't know. Like the average income in Greens Point household median is $20,000, $25,000 dollars. So there's a lot of need there. So we partner with an organization. Carl, forgive me. It's Deep Roots. It's Deep Roots something. Forgive me, Carl. But it's Carl Ward. We're partnering with him, and we're gonna do giving toys and all that stuff out to the kids and the families in Greens Point that day. So part of the toys from our drive will go there, and then another part
We'll go to back home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and pretty confident this year it's gonna be way more than 200 kids. You're gonna.
We've already had 2 organizations say they're gonna donate tons of toys, and then we also back home we feed the community. So we're gonna also feed anybody that wants a hot meal, and clothes, like people that need clothes and that type of thing. So we also have clothes that we're going to give out as well. We partner with an organization back in Terrell, Bismarck and Mary Thomas, and they have a center in Terrell that we partner with for the last couple of years on that as well. They're doing some tremendous work as well. So we don't, again, like trying to do all this stuff alone.
Yeah.
It's not. It just not beneficial.
No, you'd go crazy.
Well, we all would.
It's too much.
Yeah, but so we need each other.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever been accomplished without collectively, and that's what we haven't been able to accomplish, like as a community. Like we haven't been able to collectively move in the same direction on things because history has just kind of life sort of takes a toll on like people, and they just you just can't move them out of the way. Like ego leads a lot of stuff, and that's just not my mission. Like I'm like no ego, none of this stuff. It's like let's do the work.
Yeah. That's all that counts. That's what needs to be done. It's just the work. We gotta put everything else to the side and just get it all done.
And you're not losing anything. Like I think people feel like they're gonna lose something by standing for something.
Yeah.
And you gain by standing for something. Like we have ancestors that died fighting for us to be able to sit here today and have this conversation.
Yeah.
Got beat, sprayed with water hoses, dogs, people sitting at counters, sitting at the front of the bus, getting called all kinds of things, not being able to go to school, not being able to drink out of a water fountain. If you think that I'm gonna let my ancestors down, if you think that my time on this earth is gonna be wasted not continuing to fight and implement change, like no, not at all.
Yeah.
Like we can't afford to do that. Like we have too many kids and too many people in this world that need a voice. They need somebody fighting for them. They need encouragement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah. That's what it's about. We have to pitch in and help each other out. Where we have to try. If it's a radio DJ who comes on air on 90.9. He says, if you're not in a good fight, start one. He always closes out his show saying something like that. Like if you're not in a good fight, basically start one. Yeah. You got to stand up for something.
And you got to be the change that you want to see.
Yeah.
Like I say this all, like in life, period. You can't want what you're not. Like you can't want somebody that's whole and I'm not whole.
Yeah.
You're gonna attract what you are. I can't want my community to change if I'm not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
I can't want the laws to change if I'm not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
I can't just sit here and complain about it. Like what am I going? Like we live in an age today where Twitter and cancel culture and all these things, where people just want to talk about it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good.
But what are you gonna do?
What are we doing? Like now what?
Yeah.
What now what?
Yeah, it's so true.
What do we now what? Like what are we doing?
Yeah. That's the truth.
And we have to continue to work.
Yeah.
And whatever that means, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, because like you said, all of us have some different attribute that we can add to help. You hear a lot of people who help people find their purpose say that which is kind of like basically you said it in a nutshell, it bothered you. Mm-hmm. And that's what you always hear, like life coaches tell people. They say, hey, if it's something that bothers you, or you always feel like you know a better way to do that, then that's probably your purpose. That's probably what God has put in you to do something about, because that's something that bothers you. And He's already probably given you the answer if you just take those steps and operate and start moving in those giftings.
And like listening, like I'm learning to listen to my spirit, God, all the time. Like it's little things too. Like today, I ran into one of my friends and he was like, "Come to church." You know, it was right before their church starts at 1:30. It's the Lighthouse, Grooves, the Walls group. They're some of my really good friends. And so Daryl was like, "Come to church today." And I'm not a big church person. And so I was like, I got this interview today, blah, blah. And so I got home, I lived near the church, so I walked over to the church. I walked in. They were having a panel on mental health. Mental health is like, I love mental health thing. Like, and it was like phenomenal. It was in the line, yeah. But I listened.
Yeah.
I listened I listened. So someone's like, "Go."
And to think you weren't really, but you just went ahead and went anyway.
Because I listened.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't always know.
We choose when we don't, and a lot of us don't.
Yeah.
But we have to trust ourselves. You got to trust God.
Yeah.
Trust yourself. Trust God. Like when it says go. Go.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, and you have to do that and not always ask why, because the answer's gonna be there.
Yes.
Like I showed up today and I was like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2 black women sitting on a stage, both doctors. One of them's about to open up a middle school for mental health.
That's big.
That is big. That's huge.
I need to find out her.
Can you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, who would have known?
Mm-hmm.
I was like a kid in a candy store sitting there watching 2 educated black women talk about mental health, what they're doing, their pains, their struggles, and now they're implementing things in the community because of that. I was like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I would have never known.
I think that when we continue to just keep linking this type of stuff, it's going to be even more. So the recidivism, the homeless, the addictions, once we start to link like we're doing at the church, here at the radio stations, reentry programs, second chances, pathway to freedom, these types of things are going to need to continue across the country, and we'll start seeing the changes what we need.
And what's so funny, and it's not funny, what's so awesome about it is that we're all in alignment, because I created Sistas Talk to remove the stigma of counseling, to promote people to go in and see those counselors about their issues. I don't know if Nikki had already mentioned this to you. That's the whole premise of what Sistas Talk is even about. This is just an extension. This podcast is to educate the communities about financial awareness, opportunities like yours that you have to offer to incarcerated individuals that come out into the real world with nothing. The list goes on, right? We just want to be that outlet for people to absorb that knowledge that's out there that we don't know about.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we don't see you guys on TV. Or we don't hear you on 97.9, The Box and the Beat, whichever one it is. I'm from Dallas, so I don't know which one it is. Here in Houston.
It's the Beat.
All right, the Beat. But, everybody's not going to pay you $1,000.
She's saying both of them and she don't even know.
I know that they're both of them. I'm saying I'm from Dallas, so one of them called The Box, one of them called The Beat. So whichever one Houston
in Dallas
is
The Beat?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm saying is everybody's going to have that kind of money to spend on advertising for 30 seconds. So it's good now that we're at a stage in life where we can do podcasts, right? Where we bring on organizations like your own so that you can share this very important information with somebody that's probably watching us right now from their cell phone, and they're going to be there at the event.
That's right.
that really needs your help.
Yep. Or they know somebody who needs the help.
Everybody knows somebody.
If you don't need it, you more than likely know somebody who needs the help. So you definitely want to be in the building.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that you guys had enough, in you, inside of you, to want to give back, right? There's so many people that see issues, see problems in society, in our communities. They don't do anything about it. Yeah. And they have all the connections and money to do something about it, but they choose not to.
Yep.
Right? So we're thankful for that.
Yeah.
Thankful for second chances.
Thank you.
And then also, just like you said too, it's just listening. So many of us, we ignore the call. We think we second guess ourselves, or we don't think that, am I tripping? I don't think that's, can I really do that? We ignore the call to come help. When we've been called to help, and that means you have everything at your disposal that you need to actually help.
Yeah. And it's dismantling fear.
Yeah, you gotta bury it. We all gotta bury it, because it's everybody. We dealing with it in our own. So many people. I won't say everybody, but I know so many of us are dealing with it. Just that burying the fear and being confident to just go for it.
And that's I used to always say, people are like, "What's your biggest? What motivates you the most?" And it was the fear. The fear of failure, and all those things. So I was like, that's not my thought. That's not my drive. My motivation is change. My motivation is action. My motivation is work. Not just talking about it.
Yeah.
'Cause fear and love don't exist in the same place.
They can't.
It just doesn't exist in the same space. So I can't love something but also fear that I'm gonna lose it. You can't be afraid that something will change based on what your actions are.
Yeah.
You have to move forward in faith.
Yeah.
Faith and fear, love, they don't exist in the same space.
Yeah.
No, they just can't. It doesn't. I can't say I love you, but I
fear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
It doesn't make sense, especially when you say it out loud like that.
Yeah, they don't exist in the same space, and I had to learn that, and it's a practice. It's a practice. I practice daily on different things. I practice gratitude.
Yeah.
I have to. There's so many different things going on in the world that you can focus. It's so easy to focus on the negative things. All you gotta do is open up your phone and go on social media, and there's a billion things that you can focus on. And the first thing I do in the morning is I don't look at my phone.
Yeah.
I wake up and I just thank God for 5 things I'm grateful for, and I speak my day. I say today is gonna be an amazing day.
I know that's right.
I'm gonna have a prosperous day.
Yeah.
I speak my day. I say what today is gonna be. You gotta prepare going out into this world.
Yeah.
And you have to. It's a daily. I know I have to. I'm an infant. And so you got all kinds of things coming at you when you're an infant.
Yeah.
And you want to try to save the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you gotta conserve your energy and protect your
Absolutely.
You and I are the same exact way.
Yeah.
Trust me, I have learned to harness my own energy.
Yeah.
I'm very selfish with it now.
Yeah.
Because people would drain me. And not intentionally. They just will.
Yeah, and I've learned that. I'm more mindful of that now. Being able to say no.
Yes, you have to. You have to set healthy boundaries.
And not feel not allowing fear to sit in, thinking that you're gonna miss something by saying no. Or thinking that you're going to hurt someone's feelings by saying no. Or that you have to say yes to everything, And it's just, you have to, again, you have to take care of yourself to be able to, especially to do this work.
Yeah, that you've been given to do.
How you gonna, I can't go into a space not whole. And you're dealing with somebody that may be broken most of the time. So how do you go into this space whole and try to pour into somebody and you're not whole? I don't have no
tips for dating.
Uh-huh.
Sexual twist. We'll talk about that. You're on to something.
like she already told you, her mind always working.
Yeah. Mine too, though.
For sure. Yeah.
Mine is like that. Yeah. I'm not a relationship expert by any means. Like I've screwed up a lot
We'll
of
take
things.
what we can get.
See, look,
It's all right. Now, see, when you speak from experience.
Yeah. I mean, I have.
Yeah.
But it's also because of where I was at.
Yeah.
Like when you don't feel like you're enough, you don't have anything to give.
Mm-hmm.
Or you overcompensate, and it's coming from a space where you're hoping that person fills these holes in you that they can't.
And it's all unhealthy.
Yeah, it's all, so
You're
it's
putting too much on that person already.
yeah, it's not fair. It's just not fair. But you also attract that. You attract somebody else that has that same thing.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is. It's not opposites attract. It's like no, you attract who you are.
A mirror of you.
Yeah. Y'all might
Exactly.
y'all might have opposite things, like as far as hobbies and things. But at the end of the day, you have somehow allowed this energy, yourself to be a magnet.
Yeah,
To your same energy.
it's all connected.
Yeah.
Like we're all connected, and it's the laws of attraction are real.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, we're in this space because of that.
Yeah.
It's not just by happenstance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in alignment, the universe, God's going to bring you in the spaces and give you what you need at that time.
Absolutely.
And if you're going to say yes to it or no to it.
Mm.
And are you ready?
Are you
If
ready?
you're not ready,
But he won't give it to you until you're ready. He won't even give you the option.
absolutely.
I believe that
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely.
That it's some doors that some of us we ain't seen open yet because we ain't ready.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we ain't got the call that we thought we should have got last week. Because you ain't ready
And you got to be okay with that.
yet. Yeah.
Like it's a journey. Like
Mhm.
you have to be okay and know you have what you need right now. Because when you think about what you should have, could have had, you setting yourself up
Yeah.
for failure, for anxiety. Anxiety is real. Like
Oh yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
man.
it is. It
It's
is.
real. Like I'm a person that I have to manage mine like big time.
Oh yeah.
I do. Like I have to. That's why I meditate and.
I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, he's a guy that meditates all the time. I said that like 10, 15 minutes ago when you were talking. When you said you thank God for 5 different things, I said, okay.
Yeah, but I have to. Like my mind races too much.
Yeah. I've just recently started like making myself sit down and meditate before I pray. Like I've just started making myself do that because I can get filled with anxiety. And so I have to that's something I've learned to do in the morning as a morning exercise, and I'm making a part of my routine currently to meditate before I start praying. And I noticed a huge difference when I do that.
It's challenging in the beginning, but if you just stick to it, the benefits are great because we don't allow our mind to just be still and sit inside. Like you have to be silent. Like when you're silent, that's when God reveals the most to you.
Yeah.
When you're silent, like you have to listen and just be silent, be still. Like the Bible says, be still and know God.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just sit in corner and
Yeah.
no, it's literally like be still.
Yeah.
You have to be still, be silent. It's a challenge. It's
Now you understand why I need all y'all to be quiet.
I'm done.
Now we
Yeah,
can
I understand, right?
Oh, boy.
And then y'all actually laughing, but I'm actually dead serious.
Yeah,
Like,
we
I
laughing.
need y'all to come to Danielle moment
I
every
got
single
you.
day.
I got
Well, I know you
To
see.
get
I
my
know you
thoughts together.
serious, but
and that's how I'm able to shoot
Yeah.
off all these ideas because I had that time every single day to myself. And they don't want to give it to me. Those are
And
the
they won't give it to you.
vampires that we speak of. Right in your household, right underneath your
Right
nose.
on.
That's another topic for another day.
I'm done.
But it's important. It is. It's super important. Like I don't do Bikram yoga as much, but I do yoga.
I love big
Yoga's like that.
yoga.
It's like that for me. I don't know if y'all tried yoga.
Pass out.
Yeah, Bikram's
Ooh.
tough. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I
Love
haven't never did yoga. I like to dibble and dabble with Pilates, but yeah, I've never done yoga.
Yoga's
Yoga's
different.
good.
Yeah,
different.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it seems a little more strenuous. Like I say, I'm still on the cusp
You'll
of
be
this
fine.
meditating.
You can start small. And
Yeah,
low.
I'm starting like just 5 minutes
Stretch.
in the morning, and sometimes that 5 minutes is hard for me to just sit still. still. I feel like I got ADHD or something.
Well, you praise God, you know, just.
Well, no, that's what I'm doing first before I start praying.
I got you.
I meditate. I try to sit there.
You just clear your mind.
Yes, trying to sit there quietly.
That's the start
for
of
that 5
yoga.
minutes. I know. Yeah, that's why I say I'm taking the steps.
And it has like spiritual elements to it. Yoga
Yeah.
does. Like if you have a good instructor, and there's spirit. I do it for a lot of different reasons, but the peace and the quiet and the just the different things.
Yeah.
The spiritual elements. So I don't do it as much, but meditation. This is like I probably missed 5 days of meditation in the last like 400 days. But it's not. I'm not an expert at it. I just know what I need.
Mm-hmm.
I need to shut my brain off every day.
Yeah.
I need to. I need space for myself. I need a safe space for myself throughout the day. So it's something I need on a daily
It's
I
something.
think we all need it. We just not aware that we need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, somebody asked a question on Facebook, and I want to answer them. They say, how do you do so many different things in one day? How do you work? How do you have a podcast? How do you do your side business? How do you take care of your kids? How do you take care of your husband? How do you, all this? Fair questions, but in my mind, it's so simple. It's like, you learn to balance things out, right? If you have your podcast once a week, you prepare yourself earlier in the week, maybe on a Wednesday, you decide who's coming on. Like me and Nikki, we communicate throughout the week. We know who's going to come on to the show at least 4 or 5 days in advance. We go ahead and get the materials ready. We also have backlog to keep us up to date with who they are, what they're going to present. So we're privy on what we're going to talk about before the show happens. So I'm just giving you a few tips for the people that are listening, for that person who asked. Also, with your family, you should already have that down packed. And if you don't have kids, hey, hallelujah. You get a lot of free time to yourself. Just manage it wisely. If you have things to do, don't go party Friday night and Saturday night. Make sure that you party 1 out of the 2 nights. Still have your fun, but also have that day of rest so that you can come to yourself. Make sure you have everything planned out and ready to go. So that's my best advice to the individual that asked that question, because the answer in short is not easy, but you can make it a lot easier on yourself by making good choices throughout your week, every single week.
And I just want to add to that for that person that I've learned at this point in my life too, is that even as far as the partying is concerned, depending on what you're doing, what you're aiming to do, if I can't come and have a good time and still network, then I'm not going to come. If I don't, and I'm just being honest, not trying to make nobody feel no type of way, but just, you gotta know how to mix the two. You can mix these things, your business life as well as your networking life. If there's no way that I can mix business with pleasure, then more than likely I can't come to your event, because I have to be able to work these roles, because I do have a family at home. And so that's one way that I can't avoid wearing myself out. It's just to have that satisfaction of knowing that, I'm going, I'm supporting, I'm having a good time, but yes, I'm also taking care of business.
Pick and choose wisely.
Yes.
All I can say. But speaking of going to events, I went to this really good event on Friday night. As tired as I was, so I was tired. I went to work all week, just transitioned to a new position, new company, all this stuff. And so with all that going on, everybody at the house going crazy as usual. And on top of all that, I went to this event called Black Women in Science and Engineering. It's called Be Wise. And so I met the person who actually created that foundation, and she is just absolutely amazing. And I was able to actually sit down with other Black women in the same field that I'm in, and we have a raw and unfiltered conversation about everything that goes on, in business, in the workplace, outside of the workplace. And it was so refreshing. And
That's
so I
cool.
met some really, really outstanding.
Is it a monthly meeting or
women? Actually, I don't know how they do it. It's whenever they come up with the event. And I found it actually on LinkedIn, out of all places. And I decided to go because it was in alignment with some other things that I'm doing. So I felt the need to be present